YouTube! How's it going? Welcome to Trip Boomers Tech-Bodge Emporium. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on camera this time because, if I'm honest with you, really hurting. This is kind of the recovery time from what I've had to get done today. I'm wearing the hat purely so that I have somewhere for the microphone, you know? That's literally it. But we're going to talk about the custom case and how far I've got and what stage we're at and what's coming next. And there is a little bit of a delay. As I said, I don't have any money, so I'm just kind of having to shoestring it when I can. I've got to wait a couple of weeks for materials to get the sheet of aluminium or aluminum for the chassis, the body of the case. But I want to go through what I've got done so far with the parts that I've already got here, and some of the features that you can expect from the finished product. That being said, shall we get into it? I've got some nice fetching orange gloves, so you don't have to deal with all this. And yes, I literally split my finger, the end of my finger, in two with a grinder. Funny enough, you would have seen that footage because I was going to film myself cutting it because it was part of the case, but the grinder in question is like a 230, 220, 240, and no guards or anything, and it's a short grinder. And I was just an idiot. I'll put it this way, my nail was the last thing to touch, and the next couple of times that I cut my nail, I'm going to have two nails on that finger. Right, anyways, should we get to it? Have a look what we've got going on. Alright, guys.
Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Right, okay, guys. As I said, we'll go through what I've got sorted so far and sort of go a little bit more in depth into why I've made the choices I've made. First up, obviously, what you can expect from this case. This is the backboard. One of the main reasons I picked the case that I did as a donor, because theoretically it's up to an ATX, but because of how wide and flat this is, I can't see you having a problem with getting a full-on eATX motherboard on here. Also, it's got plenty of let me get the old orange tango gloves. Oh, aren't they nice? Orange. Right, so yeah, it's obviously the advantage to having everything already pressed, it's already ready. I like the fact that it's nice and wide, which also gives you plenty of opportunity for you to be able to like mount, say, like a pump or something, if you decided to do like a custom loop in this case, which is more than capable. The case is going to be able to take two 360 radiators. It'll handle four 140 fans up front, three 120s in the top, and a 120 in the back. It should have decent airflow, and you would be able to put a decent pump system in it. I cut this piece here off one of the casings, and that is purely so that it can go here. So that once everything's in place, this is going to have an extra 3 grommets that will literally sit underneath for you to be able to come up from the power supply, which is going to be a bit lower down. Obviously this might curve, but the intention is to be able to have these 3 here to help with cable management, because it's important. So we move that up, no, down. Another piece that I've cut is I've cut out the whole situation for the buttons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up tracing this onto the aluminium side panel, so that I can then fit all the original buttons with the original mountings and stuff to the back of it, and it'll all fit perfect. And that way you'll have proper front USB, no messing about. You've got a USB 3, USB Type-C, proper one, actually has a proper USB-C connector, and a headphone and mic separate, and quite a pleasing button, it's not a bad button. So yeah, what I'm going to, as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally trace these holes onto the side panel once it's built where I want the buttons, so they'll just work right, you know. I want this case to work just like perfectly for all of you, whoever gets it. So that's that. Let me just put that up out of the way. The other part of that panel is the top. Where did I put that? Oh, here. So I've cut this short. I want to keep the full length of this because I know that the full length of this is a 360mm radiator, so I want to keep the full length of it. But the intention is, because, you know, obviously with the design of the case, there's going to be like a dome in the top sort of thing. And the intention is for this to be sort of like tilted into it, so it kind of utilizes that height a little bit, and also pulls it away from the motherboard, so you've got a bit more access for your cabling and stuff. Obviously this is probably going to get trimmed, you know, the front edge of this and stuff from there, or bent for mounting and stuff, but that's the intentions. The intentions is, because I don't need it to be this wide, I only want the 360 really up there. So it'll probably get trimmed to go in there, but that's the intentions, it's to be tilted up and into that dome. So there's going to be venting on the back edge of the dome, so that's pretty much there. I kind of like the porosity of this mesh, so that's pretty decent. The back panel, obviously I've cut I put this tape here so I didn't cut myself, but obviously I've cut the power supply bit off the back panel because I needed to flip it upside down the other way around so that the fan's at the top and not the bottom. But as you can see, I'm trying to keep the entire width of this. This is going to literally sit still here, and this basically the back plate and the back panel are basically going to stay exactly where they were, so that all of the holes work and it's all pressed. I will get some PCIe slot covers for this, and obviously I'm going to keep the upright 3 slot here. For those that are curious, I mean, if you don't want to see super pretty through the side panel, you could put your audio card here on a riser so that you get good airflow to your GPU. It's just a suggestion, because I never know what to do with those things these days. Obviously I've cut this. This is the other half of that, so that I've also bent it so that it sits nicely in the bottom panel. So it sits nicely in the bottom of here. Well, it will do once I've got, you know, sorted out around the sides and stuff. Bend it to fit, but you get the idea. You're going to be able to sit the case on the floor because all the intakes are going to be a good 1.5 inches above ground. So you would be able to sit this case on carpet or whatever you wanted really. I've cut this primary on the bottom because this is just, it's like, I might not even use this, but this is just sort of like a guide of an idea of how the flow of that panel is going to be when I build that up. But yeah, that's sort of like an idea of the shape that's going to be happening underneath this and the GPU. Remember, I'm going to have the power supply separate from the rest of the case, so they're not breathing off the same air. It's coming from the same fans, but not the same air. Stay tuned to figure that out. And then obviously we've got this front panel, and the front panel with the 3 140s is going to be like sort of situated up and tilted. If you get that, sort of up and tilted there. So like from about here, so the case is going to be a bit taller here down this bottom end, but yeah, this is going to be sort of like tilted to get into that shape of the R13. So that's going to look pretty cool. I can't wait for the aluminium, because as soon as the aluminium's here I can shape it up and then I can start working on like real body panels, you know. But I'm just sort of like spitballing here. Obviously the rest of the stuff we've got a shorter glass panel, which is really handy for what I want to do with it. Sorry. Obviously, yeah, we've got a shorter glass panel, so it's really handy for what I want to do with it. But yeah, so this case is going to be able to support pretty much any motherboard you want. You're going to be able to do a water loop with it if you wanted to, full custom loop. It will support two 360mm radiators. It will support three 140mm fans in the front. Probably only 120s in the top and a 120 in the back. It'll have a power supply. It'll have support for at least one hard drive, three 2.5 inch SSDs, and obviously whatever's on the motherboard. But if you're interested in the case and seeing how it comes, yeah, stay tuned. And if you haven't already, watch the previous video, which tells you how this is all going to come about and what the design looks like. And other than that, thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye.